Hello all. In this session I'm going to give you clarity on what exactly rivets are. Nothing but a small introduction where students are having a lot of doubts on how to use the thicknesses or the pitch value where to use. So based on that I'm going to give you a small intro on rivets. Now coming to the rivets at the graduation level, two types of joints you come across. Okay, let me show you both the types. Two types of joints we come across. One is a lap joint, one is a butt joint. Okay, now if you look at the layout, how exactly it is going to look like. This is, let us consider this as sheet number 1. I would like to join these two sheets, okay, by placing one over the other. This is called the arrangement of a lap joint. Now if those two sheets are placed side by, then we call this as the butt joint. Okay, this is called the butt arrangement, this is called the lap arrangement of sheets. Let us consider this as sheet 1 and this is sheet number 2. Similarly here sheet 1 and sheet 2. Okay, now as from the basics it is clear that rivets are nothing but permanent joints. Rivets are permanent joints. So here I would like to join these two sheets permanently for some application point. So this is the arrangement of a lap, this is the arrangement of a butt joint. Okay, now how exactly a rivet is going to be. A rivet will have a head portion and a shank portion, something like this. Okay, and the shank is taper section. Okay, circular in cross section and it is tapered. Now tapered in sense whatever the diameter maintained at the bottom will not be maintained at the top. Alright, now if you look at here, this from wherever the shank portion started, from here to this point, this distance we call it as D. Okay, and it will come down by diameter when a length is considered. Similarly, this is the diameter of snap head. Okay, this is the height. Okay, and this height is 0.70 and this is going to be 1.60. Okay, likewise you have different types of headed rivets, but in this session I'm going to talk about a snap head. If you understand one single headed rivet, then all others become so simple. Only thing is how we are going to position the rivet to fix two sheets. That is the only criteria. Okay, if you could understand this, then everything becomes very easy. All right, now coming back to the discussion of classification, this is how it is going to be. Okay, now here what should be the thickness of sheet number 1 and what should be the thickness of sheet number 2. In case of lap joint, if you consider two sheets, the thickness is going to be T only. T is going to be the thickness. Okay, so in case of lap joint there won't be any T1 and T2 thicknesses. We don't consider any T1 or T2 thicknesses. Only T is the thickness that we are going to consider. And how that particular T is going to be calculated. Now there is a basic formula which is D diameter is equal to 6 under root T. Okay, now this formula is helpful for both the cases, lap and butt joint. Okay, even the thickness will be there for both lap and butt joint. Now D is equal to 6 root T. Either in the question T value will be given to you or D value will be given to you. Accordingly we can calculate the other. Okay, so based on this formula we can calculate either D or T. Based on these two only other standards will come into picture. Okay, so lap and butt joint, again in the same lap joint there are two types of riveting, two types of rivets. What are those two types of rivets means? One is chain type and one is zigzag type. One is zigzag type of riveting. Okay, one is chain type and one is zigzag type of riveting. Other than this, in chain and zigzag, you also come across one more terminology called single rivet or riveted, or double riveted. Single riveted, or you can say double riveted or rivet. Okay, now here, what is single rivet, what is double rivet means? Single rivet is nothing but single row. Try to understand, this is important. And here double rivet nothing but double row. Alright, means, for example, let me draw a simple sketch to make you understand. Let us say this has one sheet. This is one sheet. Okay, there is one more sheet placed over, something like this. Alright, now here to fix these two sheets, we have placed rivets. This is rivet number 1, rivet number 2, rivet number 3, and after this there is no sheet. So if the length of the sheet is some 100 or 500 meters, then you are going to place more number of rivets to fix. But the idea is to show only the area where exactly riveting is done to fix two sheets. If that is the case, you can represent it with 2 rivets or 3 rivets, that is fine. Okay, when the rivets are falling one behind the other or one in front of the other, we call it as a single riveted. Okay, we consider it this as single riveted. Nothing but, it doesn't mean that it's a single rivet, single entity. It means that what is a single riveted? It is a row. This complete row. This complete row may contain 1000 rivets. Okay, or any other number, 2000 rivets or 100 rivets, but we consider it as a single riveted. Nothing but we considering it as single row. Okay, because when I view the component or the arrangement from the front view, I could see only one rivet, because all other rivets are falling behind, which are invisible to the observer. That is the reason we call it as a single riveted joint. Okay, now this term single riveted you come across both in case of lap joint as well as in case of butt joint also. Try to remember, single riveted or double riveted you come across in both the cases, whether it is a lap joint or a butt joint. Okay, so what you should remember is, whenever a question is based on a single riveted, immediately you should strike in your mind like it is about a single row. If it is a double riveted, it is about a double row. Means one more row will be arranged. It's an offset at an offset distance. One more row going to be arranged. Alright, try to understand this logic. This is about a single rivet and a double riveted joints. And other than this, let me give you some more clarity on this. Other than this riveted, single and double, what else we come across, we'll see. Now whenever you talk about lap or a butt joint, there will be a pitch distance. Pitch is represented with P, and that is equal to 3D. 3 into diameter. Diameter you can calculate with respect to this formula. Okay, pitch will remain same for both butt and lap joints. Okay, and what is the difference between these two means, this is arrangement number 1, and whenever we deal with a butt joint, we need to consider straps. Okay, because when it is a lap joint, you can simply place the rivet here. I'm just trying to show you roughly how exactly rivet is going to be placed. Rivet can be placed here by drilling a hole from top to bottom, something like this. Whereas in case of a butt joint, you can't place a rivet directly. If I try to drill a hole here and place a rivet, it is a useless job because I'm not going to clamp any of the two entities, because another sheet number 2 is placed beside. So if I drill a hole in the middle, it will also become useless. So what we'll try to do is we'll try to use a strap. Okay, so I'll try to use a strap which will support both the sheets, something like this. Okay, so now if I drill a hole, strap is going to catch hold of these two sheets. Okay, it's just a sense to understand. If I place a strip or a strap metal sheet over both the sheets, then I can drill a hole through, passing through strap as well as the sheet number 1, or strap as well as the sheet number 2. Then I can place a rivet and clamp it. Okay, so if I use one strap, then we call it as a single strap. Likewise, if you want to increase the strength, then double strap can also be used. Alright, now if this is the case, initially sheet number 1 is called as T thickness, and sheet number, if you are using a single, now whenever you talk about straps, two things comes into picture, T1 and T2. Okay, T1 is equal to 1.125 into T. T2 is equal to 0.75 into T. Now what is T? T is the thickness. Thickness we can calculate through D is equal to 6 root T. So from here we can easily calculate T value. Based on this T value, we can easily calculate T1 and T2. And now the question is where we need to use T1, where we have to use T2 while drawing. Okay, when the question is based on single strap, then you are supposed to use T1 as the thickness of the strap. This strap thickness, I'm trying to hatch it just to make you understand. If it is a single strap, that should be T1, means 1.125 T, and whatever the thickness you get, you have to place it accordingly. Okay, if it is a double strap, then you are supposed to use T2 on both the sides. This should be T2, this should also be T2. Okay, you have to consider T2 is equal to 0.75 T for both the straps if it is double strap. If it is a single strap, then T1 is enough. Alright, I hope you understood. And this T1 T2 discussion will not be there in case of a lap joint. T1 T2 discussion will not be there in case of a lap joint. Okay, T1 T2 is considered only for a butt joint because the sheets are placed one side by the other. Okay, just to fix these two sheets, we use straps based on the working condition or the environment, kind of load it is going to take. We'll use T1 or else T2. Okay, if it is a single strap, T1 has to be considered. If it is a double strap, T2 has to be considered for both above and below straps. This is one more clarity I would like to mention where students will get confused. Alright, so this discussion of T1 T2 will not be there in case of a lap joint. That is one more point. Other than this, one more confusion that students usually have, let me concentrate, how to draw the top view of the component. While drawing the top view, they'll get lot more doubts. Okay, so few specifications that they need to remember, few specifications which are very much important. For example, what is pitch? P is equal to 3D, 3 times of the diameter. What is this P is equal to 3D? Means from one rivet to the other rivet, the distance should be pitch distance. This should be P, which is equal to 3D. Okay, this is very much important to understand. And here if you look at this particular circle, this circle is nothing but this snap head circle, which is 1.6D. Okay, 1.6D. So snap head is coming between the observer and the diameter, so diameter will remain inside, invisible. Try to understand. That is the reason you could see in your textbooks or any copies this kind of hidden circle will be given. That hidden is nothing but the diameter, the okay. This is not visible from the top to the observer because the head is coming in between. Alright, so one rivet to the next rivet, the pitch should be 3D. Similarly, if you draw too many rivets, for example, here is one, here is another, then the distance should again be 3D only. So that is nothing but a pitch distance. Okay, then one more point, if it is a single riveted, this is the case. If it is a double riveted, then there will be one more rivet. Okay, remember this is about the top view discussion is all about the top view. Okay, there is one more row. Double riveted is nothing but one more row comes into picture. That row may contain 2 rivets, 3 rivets or 10 rivets. Okay, but when you draw on a sheet of paper, presenting everything with 3 rivets is always better, where you could show all the standards. That would be better. Okay, now when you are going to draw or place one more row of rivets, what should be the distance between those two? That is also important. Now here this is pitch, that is fine. Now what should be the distance between two rows? From this row to the next row, what should be the distance? This should also you should remember, very important to remember, this distance we call it as PR, which is pitch radius. Okay, this is equal to PR, that is equal to 0.8 into P. 0.8 into P. This is also important to understand. Pitch radius, what you call, that is 0.85 for chain system. For chain riveting, this is equal to 0.8 into P. Okay, similarly if it is a zigzag, that is equal to 0.6 into P. For a zigzag joint, PR is equal to 0.6 into P. Try to remember these two. Okay, what is the difference between chain and a zigzag means? Here, have a look. This is a chain system, whether it is a 2 row or a single row one, it is a chain system. Alright, where if you look at vertical or horizontal, rivets are aligned, whereas in case of a zigzag joint, in case of a zigzag arrangement, now if you consider one single row for a zigzag, this is rivet 1, this is rivet number 2, and rivet 3, zigzag condition, rivet 3 will come here somewhere. Okay, here. So what should be the distance means, here from the actual rivet, here the distance should be P by 2, which is 3D by 2. Okay, now this arrangement is called a zigzag arrangement. This is how you try to do. Okay, this arrangement, zigzag arrangement, the next rivet is going to be placed here. This is going to be the next rivet. This is the another rivet. It all depends on the application point, where exactly and how exactly they are going to use. This red line, what you could see, is a zigzag line. It is not a linear member, so we call this as a zigzag arrangement of a riveted joint. So in the question, if they specify that it is a zigzag kind of arrangement, then you are supposed to consider 0.6 P as the PR, pitch radius. Okay, whether it is a lap joint or a butt joint, you come across chain and zigzag type. So if it is a chain type, in between two rows the gap should be 0.8 P, which we call it as a pitch radius. And if it is a zigzag arrangement of a zigzag system, then the gap should be 0.6 P. 0.6 P. Okay, these are the important points to be noted, which is very much important to understand. Okay, and as I said, T1, T2 comes into picture whenever you talk about strap, and we discuss about straps when we are talking about butt joint only, nothing to do with the lap joint. Okay, these are the things you should remember. What is a single rivet, double rivet, okay, what is a butt joint, what is a lap joint, and how we need to draw things accordingly. Okay, this is about the classification, and this is about simple clarification of how exactly you are going to place the rivets and arrangements. Okay, and one more terminology is also there, like here from this rivet to this rivet, okay, this distance we call it as a PD, diagonal pitch. Okay, that can also be considered, or else if you go with the 0.6 p and p by 2 distance, then no need of remembering PD also, directly you can go ahead with that. Okay, other than this, some let me take a new clean window and explain you few more things that you need to remember are few dimensions you should consider. 1.5d, 1.5d, this is called the distance. Okay, this distance you come across in many conditions. What are the conditions where you come across this 1.5d distance means? For example, if it is a butt joint with a single strap on the top, as I said just now, if it is a single strap, this is called T1, and initial strap sheet is called T. This T can be calculated to formula called D is equal to 6 under root T, and T1 can be calculated by 1.125 T. Till here it is fine. And coming to this 1.5D, where exactly we need to place means here, let me draw an axis line. Here let me draw a simple axis line. Alright, for your understanding, you need to draw in the examination. Now here let us say there is a rivet placed here. Okay, where exactly we need to place the rivet with respect to the butt joint. This is called the butt. Okay, wherever both the sheets are joining, that joining is called the butt. Here one rivet is placed, to the other side there is one more rivet. Alright, something like this. Now what is 1.5D, where exactly we need to use this particular 1.5D? Let me enlarge and show you. Now the distance from the butt joint till the center of rivet should be 1.5D, 1.5 into D. Similarly from here to the midpoint, it should be 1.5D. Okay, this is one distance where you need to remember this 1.5D should be the distance from the butt joint to the rivet center. Okay, one more place where exactly we use is from the extreme end, wherever the strap is ending here, or wherever the sheet we are trying to end up. Okay, for example here if I consider the strap end point, this end point should be at a distance of again 1.5D, and this end should be at a distance of 1.5D. So there are many cases where we use a distance called 1.5D that you should remember. Okay, this is very much important to understand. Okay, and one more important point is, for example, if I try to draw the top view, this is, let us consider, I'll take drawing the projector lines and a center line. All these are very much important. Simply you can't draw. Okay, these two, from here to the center line, it is the width of sheet number 1, and this is the width of sheet number 2. Okay, let me draw sheet number 1 and show you, give you a clarity. This is sheet number 1. Okay, from here to that point. This is sheet number 1, and this is sheet number 2 till this line, Alright, and in between there is a butt joint, and when I view from the top, this is not visible to me, this axis, so, or this joint, so I'll just make it hidden. Till here it is fine. But when I view from the top, there is a strap coming in between the observer and the sheets, which I'm going to fix. Now let me draw some other, I'll just consider yellow, okay, and show you. if the strap is maintaining a distance more than both the sheets, okay, when I view from the front, okay, then the strap will definitely come out, something like this. Have a look. This is how a strap is going to be placed. Alright, this will come out again. Why it is coming out, I'll tell you. This clarification is very much important to understand. Okay, this is the strap. Yellow color one is the strap. Now why it is not going outside this area means, here you could see the sheet thickness. Okay, you could see the extension of the sheet or the projection of the sheet. So the strap is ending up here. You are not supposed to take the strap out. That is first point. Secondly, this may go beyond the sheet. This may also go beyond the sheet. Okay, it all depends on your imagination, or else you can end up your strap here also. Nobody will ask you why you have ended up here. Okay, because both are correct for the case. Both the conditions are correct. You can take projection of the strap either this side or to the front side, but not on right or left, because the strap is ending up here at this point. You are not supposed to take it out. Because the projection of the sheet is more when compared to the strap. This is one more clarity I would like to mention. And other than this, when the strap is going out, when this particular strap is going out, then this line becomes hidden. Try to understand. Okay, this side also, this becomes hidden up to this point. After this point, it will be dark only. It is completely visible. The way it is visible here, this edge will also be visible to us from the top. Okay, that is one more important point to be noted. And while drawing the rivets in the top view, where you should start is the question students might have. Now for example, if this is the edge, this is the another edge, then you can start nearby the edge, not at all a problem. And this diameter should be equal to the diameter of the head. Okay, and should maintain a pitch distance of 3D and one more circle. Showing these two, pitch distance P is equal to 3D is more important. Okay, and you don't bother whether the circle is nearby the edge or not. Don't measure from the edge. In general, what we'll try to do, from the edge till the center of rivet, the distance should be 1.5D. That is the case. Okay, you can consider this distance, or else you can directly take nearby the edge also, doesn't matter. Okay, because we are showing a cut section. Cut section represents, what is cut section? This is called the cut section. This cut section represents that there is a lot more extension of the sheet, but we are not bothered about the length of the sheet. We are only bothered about the representation of the rivets on the sheets. Okay, so this is what that means. And while drawing this zigzag line also, if you are not supposed to draw with free hand, it should be like in between two lines there should be a vertical, okay, 45 degrees inclinations. This is how it need to be. Okay, don't draw it freehand, something like this. Okay, you have to maintain the standards accordingly. In general, this will maintain, and this will also maintain 45 degrees. Okay, these are the few important points that I would like to mention, which will help you to understand. Okay, and coming to the application point of rivets, where exactly we'll try to apply or we'll try to use rivets. Coming to the application point, if you'll see in the manufacturing or fabrication of boilers, because their permanent joints are required. Okay, and bus building. Okay, bus building, it is helpful, or else the rail bogies. Okay, rail bogies or train bogies, you can say, are made of rivets only. Okay, and many other applications are there. These are the few I would like to mention. So joining sheets permanently is very much important, so that is the reason we'll go with riveted joints. Okay, only thing is you have to remember the thicknesses and where to use lap joint, how to use, and butt joint, how to use, what is the arrangement. These are the important points you should remember. Okay, only few formulas I just make you remember again. Try to understand. D is equal to 6 root D. Very much important for both the cases, whether it is a lap or a butt joint. T1 is equal to 1.125 T, useful for in case of butt joint. T2 is equal to 0.75 T. Okay, T1, T2 are not at all helpful for lap joint. It is useful for a butt joint whenever you're dealing with straps. If it is a single strap, T1 is enough. If it is a double strap, T2 is enough. Okay, similarly P is equal to 3D, which is a pitch distance between two rivets. Next PR is equal to 0.8 P. Okay, for chain type, this is for chain. Similarly PR is equal to 0.6 P for zigzag system. Okay, if you could remember these formulas followed by 1.5D measurement where exactly we need to place, then everything becomes so simple. Okay, terminology is more important to understand the question. Okay, this is all in this session where I would like to classify and give clarification for a few doubts raised by the students, and hope you understood to give your best in the examination. If you have any queries, you can comment in the box given below. Thank you for now.